Alright, check out the right side of that door versus the left. So the right side has been all finished up with this Rustoleum Wipe New, which I've used a couple times. But this is one of the better outcomes for sure that I've ever gotten. Mainly because this door just gets sun-beaten, and it probably in a lot of ways really need to be painted. But thing is, this is a tip for you. If it's a regular color, you might as well just paint it. But this, as you can see, is oil rub bronze, which means it's got some black and some tan and a little bit of gold. And you know, the way they painted this was actually really nice. And I don't want to simply mask this off and spray it. Even though I bought oil rub bronze, it just doesn't, you know, I could spray it, it would look kind of nice, but not the same. This is a really nice finish. So if you've got something that you want to keep the finish, or maybe you just don't really want to get involved with masking and painting, this could be a really good product. So like you see the product over here, and some of it's probably still, it's very wet, and I'm probably, now that I'm looking, I want to touch that spot up. So speaking of that, I've got the towel here from the product, and I'm just gonna try to really shove it in that corner. That's why it was probably missed in the first place. But it does turn out really nice. Actually, I know what that is. That was a little rust spot I had to touch up, so I unfortunately won't get that any better. But here are the keys. I've read the instructions. I've done this on multiple things. This is what I find works the best. Get way more than you need, because some of them are going to be like this. This is crunchy. This thing's totally dry. In this box, there were two of them that are just totally no good. So order extra, clean this really good, clean whatever the project you're going to do really good, and then and you don't even really need to mask it. That's why I do like it. So like, take a look at this door, and I'll do one sample spot, and you'll see how it'll come in to match just like this one. Alright, so I used 2 towels for that whole door, but I do want to point something out. I'm going to back up. Right there, I got a little inconsistency, so that's the challenging part I found with these. So this is my advice. This is a good one. I can feel it's not crunchy, so I have this all ready to go. I'm gonna open this, and I'm immediately gonna start doing all the details. Right, I'm gonna pull it deep into the corners, get all the hard stuff that's slow. Then last, do the faces. So that's what I did over here, and I just have to do a little touch up right there. All right, so because this is a brand new one, and I'm going to explain something here real quick. So when you do a big surface like that, this stuff starts to get tacky. So if you do have to add a little bit, you kind of need to do it like a brand new wipe. If the wipe's already kind of dry, it'll only make it worse for you. All right, so like I was saying, this one's new, and I'm just gonna, you know, start doing some of the flat stuff because this one's very wet. And then let's say I start here, I'm gonna wrap it, and then I kind of takes 2 hands, but I need to pull the corner up into the cracks and crevices to get them really good. So like you can see, that one is pretty good, right? And I'm leaving them, this is probably a little excessively wet, so I will more than likely come wipe back over that one, right? But all this slow stuff, go for all this stuff first. And I mean, some of it's common sense, right? Like, go methodically through it, because if you miss a piece, it's going to look horrible, and you really want to get it all while it's wet. You don't want to be bouncing around and coming back and forth. So I'm starting here. I'm going to probably work my way like kind of in this type of a motion. What I actually should have done is start in the bottom corner. That's what I did over here. But give me a second to get this one wiped. Alright, so if you look, you can tell a lot of that difficult wrought iron work is done. But this one's getting a little bit dry, so I'm going to open up a new, and I'm actually going to do the flat surfaces really clean, and then by then it'll be a little bit drier, and I'll finish up on the detail work. This is just not quite damp enough. If you look, it'll do it, but I'm really having to wipe and wipe and wipe. And so it's just time to get a fresh one. All right, brand new, and that'll kill that box with a couple dry ones and a handful of wet ones. So let me, to make this easier, I'm going to start where I can reach, and then I'm going to come back through and get that on my little step. But on the big areas, I'll do it something like this. Just give it a solid wipe. And try to not do a whole lot of wiping over stuff you've already wiped. I found that does make it streaky. So I just picked a way to go all the way to the bottom, come over, go up at least to the handle. And I've actually already done that little edge that's inside the door right now. I did think ahead on that, although I gotta slip in and get this piece. All right, and then here we go. Run back up to the top. All right, so like I said, if you do it smooth like that, it does come out looking nice. You can see I've got a lot of work to do on the handle, that detail work, but the flat part of the door goes really quick. So I'm gonna knock that out while this is still wet. And what I'm doing to help stretch them too is, while it gets a little dry, I'll put it back in the packet and kind of squeeze it around and get a little bit more of the clear material on it. And then, so this whole door is done with 4 towels. All right, so just as it's getting dark, there they are. Now that's gonna still dry. You can see where it's a little bit wet, but man, talk about looking restored. It was so faded. So I love the product. That's a couple hours worth of work, including cleaning, wiping, and everything, and about 25 bucks.